All right, what's going on, guys? LSU Recruiting HQ here. I'm your host, Michael, and boy, do we got stuff for you guys today. LSU has been absolutely killing it on the recruiting trail. We tried to warn everybody and let everybody know to hop off Brian Kelly because it was coming, and boy, did it come. And it ain't finished yet. If you're watching this currently as of the 9th of July, there's more coming. All right, LSU has already signed seven or has committed seven kids the month of July. All right, we're only 9 days in, and we got another one coming later today. Um, but I mean, just the job that Brian Kelly and especially Jamar Kane, defensive line coach, has done this month has been absolutely phenomenal. LSU currently sits with the seventh rated class in the nation. All right, just a week ago, everybody was talking, oh, Brian Kelly can't recruit this, that, all that nonsense stuff. You know, we all knew the recruiting stuff was going to come around eventually. It just needed some time to develop, and boy, did it ever. Third SEC ranking right now, currently sitting in that top 10 rating. Probably going to keep fluctuating in that range throughout the whole rest of the recruiting cycle. But like I said, man, everybody was getting on them. You know, last week I believe LSU was around the 40s and 50s in the rankings. Everybody gets so hyped up on those rankings. Just don't realize LSU had probably 5 to 6 kids committed at the time. You know, so that makes a big difference now that they have the same number of kids committed to to match the rest of the people in the top 10. You know, you're seeing that quality also with the quantity now. All right, just to go through some names, you know, that dropped. You know, July 4th was a huge day. You know, our last weekend in general was a huge day. You started kicking things off with Jackson Howard out of Michigan. You get Stamps, safety from New Orleans. The cornerback from Bishop Gorman, Jeremiah Hughes. He commits to you on Thursday. Just going through the list, you get, and then the defensive line class. Obviously, I already mentioned Jackson Howard, but you get Darren Reed, you get Joshua Mickens, Deshaun Womack, all of those top 200, almost top 150 players. Every single one of those in that defensive line. And then yesterday, the 8th of July, we find out 5-star Jalen Brown out of Miami commits to LSU, the first 5-star of this cycle, in a position that LSU is going to need to replace some guys coming in the future. So a huge addition there. You obviously know already that Sheldon Sampson Jr. is right there in Baton Rouge Catholic High. And he's a guy who's obviously going to be high on LSU's list too. If you compare Jalen Brown and Sheldon Sampson together, I mean, that is a team that is going to be tough to stop every Saturday. I don't care who's throwing them the ball. All right, those guys are going to get open, and this defensive line class is going to get after people, man. All these edge rushers. I mean, you know, usually you see, you know, guys who get commits like that are, you know, you get defensive line commits like that, but then you see guys, you know, kind of back off and take a minute and realize, hey, maybe that's not where I need to be. You know, they've already got 2 or 3 guys committed at that position. These guys said, nope, we want to roll together. We see the way things are rotating at LSU. The defensive line and how they're getting bodies in there and fresh guys in there, and everybody's getting a piece of the pie, and they want to be a part of that, and that's awesome because offensive line, defensive line is where it starts in this game of football. Right? I don't care how many touchdowns dudes throw for, how many, you know, it all centers around that offensive line and that defensive line, and that for sure got beefed up this weekend, this past week with Jamar Kane's class that he's bringing in this summer, and I'm letting you guys know now, Brad Davis ain't done neither. All right, it's coming. All right, it's coming sooner than later. All right, he's got a bunch of guys waiting and feeling some things out right now, but when those things start dropping too, you're gonna be looking at this offensive defensive line class as one of the best in the country for sure. You know, you have a guy up there in Neville who's a top 100 offensive lineman. That's a guy you have to go get. LSU sits in a really good spot for him right now. I mean, this is just people came at me all last month saying, what is Brian Kelly doing? Why can't we recruit these guys? Why is Arch Manning going to Texas? Why is Derek Williams going to Texas? And you know what? This isn't the first time guys have went out of state. LSU's gonna be fine. All right. The Derek Williams recruitment is not fully over. All right. Arch Manning was never coming to LSU. That's not the biggest deal in the world. You know, what is a big deal is the majority, of your top 10, right? Top 15 ish, you got to get a majority of those guys. And I think LSU is going to do that. They're in a good spot with a lot of those guys. A lot of these kids, they're just waiting things out, you see a lot of fluctuation in this July month because the end of camps just happened. A lot of people have a good feel of where they want to be, and you've seen a lot of kids making their decisions over the summer. But the kids that are still waiting and still, feeling things out a little bit, those are going to start popping off too. And there's a lot of guys in Louisiana that are still not committed or are committed, and maybe LSU is working, busting their butts to get on with that. And a big point I want to make right now. So everybody is saying, hey, LSU didn't sign a quarterback. Eli Holston was a guy in Louisiana that LSU wanted, but the old staff didn't really pursue him hard enough to continue that relationship. Brian Kelly really tried his best, but he had already made his mind up where he wanted to go. You have guys like Malachi Nelson out west that committed to Southern Cal, who LSU was hard after in the beginning of his recruitment. And then obviously Dante Moore just popping the bubble yesterday, committing to Oregon, was the 5-star out of Michigan, who LSU was hard after as well. So you miss out on those three guys, right? Those are your top tier A+ rated quarterbacks in this class. But I'm telling you guys, listen to me when I say this. The Ricky Collins, all right, from Woodlawn, right there in your backyard, all right, is just as talented as any of these other quarterbacks out there, all right? And I know for a fact Joe Sloan is busting his butt every day to get that kid on campus at LSU and not go to Purdue. Alright, I know what Ricky said in Twitter. I know all of that stuff is cool and nice and, boiler up, all that cool stuff. But when it comes time to make a life decision, alright, he's going to have to think twice because Joe Sloan's giving him something to think about, and LSU needs a quarterback in this class. We are at the stage of college football where you have to recruit quarterbacks every cycle no matter what, whether it's a transfer or whether it's a high school kid. You have to add a quarterback just because of the losses that you're going to receive from the transfer portal and guys leaving your program. You have to make up for that in high school, and you have to make up that in the transfer portal. And I believe Ricky Collins is going to be that guy, and it's going to be the guy that LSU ends up signing. All right? So just want to give a quick breakdown of the guys in Louisiana who have yet to sign. Obviously, we all know Sheldon Sampson. That guy, that's got to be a lock. Like, Brian Kelly cannot mess around and play around with that kid. Let him know. Get him whatever he needs NIL-wise. I don't care. I don't care what it takes. I don't care what law firm he's got to go put his face on, the billboard, whatever it is, the booster events he's got to go to collect them checks. I don't care. That man needs to be on LSU's campus. I will not watch that kid wear a crimson uniform. I will not do it, right? And then, like I was telling you guys, Lance Hurd from Neville up in Monroe, that is a huge get, all right? Like I said, this offensive line, defensive line stuff is so serious in college football nowadays. You have to get a guy like that. Friends with Will Campbell. Will Campbell taught him how to play the tackle position, knowing he was going to be there this year. That would be a huge addition. A lot of people were concerned about Jaden Osbury, all right? To me, I think the longer the recruitment goes, the better LSU's chances are. Right now, if it ended today, I don't think he'd come to LSU. But you know what? The fact that he hasn't committed yet means he probably hasn't made his mind up yet. And if he takes that process into the fall, he gets to talk with Matt House and that linebacking coaching staff. are in that defensive coaching staff, and I believe that's one that LSU could flip the script on just like that. That's a legacy guy. Dad went to LSU, worked at LSU, uh, all that stuff. His brother did just commit to Auburn. It seems to be Auburn is not as big as a factor in this recruitment. It seems like he wants to go his own place, make his own statement. And I think that place is going to be LSU. Everybody sees on the boards right now, maybe Notre Dame is the favorite. And like I said, maybe if at the end of the day they are the favorite. But I promise you, by the end of this recruitment, I promise you, I think he's going to be wearing purple and gold as well. Another one everybody's concerned about is Jordan Matthews. Jordan Matthews, that recruitment, once again, is long from over. Woodlawn, is producing guys at a high rate right now. You got Jordan Matthews, Ricky Collins, both from there, both projected to land out of state as of right now. The Jordan Matthews one is going to be tough. LSU has a lot of ground to make up with him. He really loves Texas, really likes A&M, places like that. Obviously, going out of state is not a problem for him. But, that just adds to the factors that these guys, it's not the end of the world if these guys leave, man. I'm telling you. And we got, so like I said, Ricky Collins, also another one from Woodlawn. Keep an eye out, all right, because that recruitment is not over, and I promise you, Joe Sloan is working his butt off to get that kid in purple and gold. Caleb Jackson, Baton Rouge guy again. LSU sits in a good spot with him. He's a running back, top 180 prospect. Like I said, LSU sits in a really good spot for him. Tyree Adams, offensive tackle from New Orleans. It's Alabama LSU battle right there. Alabama's had a lot of success, man, in New Orleans, so that'd be another huge get. Frank Wilson's working his butt off trying to get that kid out of here too, and like I said, you there's a lot of guys still left on the board that LSU could add to this class and make an impact. They're not, Louisiana's always going to have those guys that are 3 stars that turn into 5 stars and 5 stars that turn into 3 stars. It's a wait and see game. The recruiting base that these sites and all these places use, I'm just going to let y'all know they're not sending guys out there like they used to. There's not guys watching film nonstop. They come up with these rankings, and most of them are BS. They kind of copy off each other, and they might go watch a game here or there, or they go to a camp here and there and see these guys, but they're not watching these guys every week playing football and getting a very accurate rating. So I wouldn't get up all caught up in the 5-4 star that buzz. I mean, that's nice and all for class rankings and to say your team beat another team, a rival team or something like that. But other than that, it's really pointless. It's all about how you can develop kids, because there's plenty of 5 stars that have not turned out, and there's plenty of 3 stars that have become superstars in the NFL. So that doesn't make a difference to me. But man, like I said, what a week it's been for LSU, and they're not done yet. Just keep you guys updated, man. Make sure, if you're not already, get my LSU Recruiting Twitter notifications on, because we are dropping news every single day at this point with the recruiting, and that's something that y'all have to do, is get that notification turned on. Y'all get it as soon as I get it. And if you haven't already, man, we're trying to grow this Instagram account. We're having a lot of success with that now, working with my guy, making my edits. And like I said, with the recruiting thing popping off, everything's been going so smoothly on the channel and all the other socials. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to hearing what you guys think about this recruiting class. If you haven't, man, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, man, like that too. And I will see you guys later on. Peace.